Good evening. I hope you had a rather more relaxing Christmas and New Year than the detectives who were with us a month ago. There's been strong progress on 2 of our December reconstructions, though so far not much on the 3rd. These things often, of course, take time, though. Indeed, we can only now report progress on 2 murders that we covered separately, one in December 1991 and the other last March.
Hi, Fred.
Hello, ladies.
Hi there.
Winter's coming early with a vengeance.
Fred Maltby lived just outside Lincoln. It was hard to see why anyone could want to kill him, but he was found with savage head wounds. And then 3 months later, Joe Rylat, who lived above a bookies shop in Lincoln, was murdered. The weapon was probably an axe. A man has now been charged with both the murders. And with your help, maybe there'll be equally important news tonight. Remember the number, as always, 081 811 8181.
And our first case tonight is one in which customers who'd gone into a bank in Greater Manchester were confronted by an armed gang. As you'll see, nobody was injured in the attack, but it was a particularly frightening experience for everyone involved. Our appeal for help begins the day before the robbery in Morecambe in Lancashire. It's Thursday the 22nd of October. This is the Cumberland View garage on the Vickers Industrial Estate in Morecambe.
Steve, I'm going to have to break you off this one. I've got a customer waiting for a job, so I'll move the black Audi out of the way for you.
Right, okay.
Cheers.
Yeah.
We had a Audi Coupe in black that was very distinctive in for repairs, but unfortunately that morning it was blocking the way when I wanted a further job doing about 11 AM, so I actually took the vehicle out of the premises into the backyard.
It was just coming up to my dinner hour at 12:15, and I seen 2 shady-looking characters. They was looking round the corner to where the black Audi was parked. They wasn't dressed right for buying cars. They just didn't fit.
15 minutes later, just around the corner from the garage, Bill Elliott, the managing director of Vickers Car and Van Hire, was on his way home to lunch.
I saw the car approach. It came very, very quickly. It came up like a train. It swerved round the corner and pulled up in front of me.
2 youths went to talk to the driver. Perhaps they were the same 2 who'd been at the Cumberland View garage earlier on.
The driver didn't seem to fit the car. He was a young chap with a baseball hat on. I assumed it was belonging to the Volkswagen Audi dealer at the top of the road and thought it must be one of the mechanics taking it for a test drive. Being a friend of the managing director, I thought I must tell him, and because I mean it's no way to treat a nice car.
When the Audi was stolen, its petrol tank was nearly empty. Where was it filled up, and where was it kept that night? And where did this Astra spend the night? It disappeared from a car park in Preston around the same time. What is certain is that by 10 o'clock the next morning, both cars had travelled south to the Lever Edge area of Bolton. 2 locals were tinkering with their car.
We was in the backyard, fixing the back end of the vehicle. We heard screeching at the top of the street. Went to the back entrance to the garage to have a look what's happening. 2 cars in convoy coming down the back street, around about 70 miles an hour.
Further down the street, the wife of one of those men also saw the cars.
I knew there was something wrong because nobody does fly around at that time in the morning. It's too early.
At the next junction, they turned left into the street where police believe the Audi was parked and the driver joined the men in the Astra. Just a mile away is the Derby Street branch of the NatWest Bank. It's 10:30.
All right, everybody down! Get down! Get down! All right, stay down and you won't get hurt. Hand over the money. Come on, hand over the money.
Hello, emergency services, please. The police.
Get in, lady, get in!
I looked at the long knife. It frightened me to death.
Sit there and you won't get hurt.
I wondered what my little dog might have done. Trixie's a very nervous dog anyway. I picked her up and pulled her towards me, protecting like her and myself, really. A few seconds later, he jumped up on the side of the chair outside of me, and I thought, he's going to chop my head off.
I've just seen 3 men, and they've just got out of a white Astra car.
Come on, get a move on! Hurry up, Alan! Hurry up! Right, go. Out, out! Merry Christmas, mate.
They're coming out of the bank. I can see them. They're going to get away. Probably going to be too late. Can you get someone here quickly?
The robbers must have recce their escape route well. The area is a maze of dead ends, and yet minutes later, they were back at Settle Street.
The next thing we hear is another screeching. The Astra come flying back past us again. Come straight past the house, straight over the junction onto the next set of houses. I just had that feeling that they'd done something. So me and my friend jumped in our vehicle. We was pointing the opposite way, so I went to spin the car around on a 3-point turn.
But the robbers had now transferred to the Audi.
As I was doing the first point, the Audi come up at the side of me, waved me past, so I reversed back and the Audi come past me.
They didn't see any passengers, but it's believed the other 2 were ducked down below the seats. A police patrol officer had been radioed to look out for the Audi. At about 10:45, he saw it heading in the direction of the M61. Where did it go next? One week later, on Friday, October the 30th, the Audi was found abandoned at the back of the new Ellesmere pub on the East Lancashire Road in Swinton, 7 miles from Bolton. Well, Roy Illing, can we start with a description of the driver of that black Audi?
Yes, he's white. He's 33 to 35 years of age. He's got fair hair, which is brushed back and is receding. He's about 5'8", medium build. And he's actually described as a Grant Mitchell lookalike, the character from the EastEnders programme.
And witnesses of the robbery itself remember several details in particular. First of all, the gunman.
Yes, the gunman, as can be seen, he's left-handed. He's holding the gun in a left-handed stance. So we're obviously looking at him as being a left-handed.
He's yeah, I mean, he might not be left-handed, but he certainly looks as though he is. And what about the gun itself?
The gun itself is quite a popular sporting type. It's a over and under double-barrel shotgun. This is a shotgun where one barrel is on top of the other as opposed to a side-by-side. It's sawn off, it's got a wooden stock and a wooden grip, and of course the stock has been sawn off as well as the barrels.
And these kind of guns are normally used for clay pigeon shooting and things like that?
Yeah, general sporting activities.
And then there were the trainers that one of them was wearing.
Yes, one of the men is wearing white trainers, which has got 3 distinctive red stripes on the side of the trainers. We'd like to know the origin and alternatively the make of those trainers, or alternatively you might know someone who owns a pair of trainers of that type.
Mm. Finally, there were 2 things that they actually left behind in the bank.
Yes, there were 2 clues left by the offenders. The first one is a standard sledgehammer, which you can buy at almost any hardware or good tool stores. Nothing special about it. But the other significant thing which was left behind is a tea towel, which someone might recognise. And as can be seen, it's got writing on it of good neighbours and a little ditty at the bottom.
Somebody might recognise that.
And that's who we'd like to hear from.
Particularly in conjunction with the sledgehammer and the gun.
Yes.
If you can help, there is a substantial reward for information leading to the conviction of these men. It's £15,000. The number in the studio here is 081 811 8181, or you can phone the Manchester Major Crime Investigation Unit, and that's 061 856 4130. That's 061, the code for Manchester, 856 4130.
Well, now some appeals on unsolved cases from around the country. Here to take us through Incident Desk, Superintendent David Hatcher and Detective Constable Jackie Holmes.
West Mercia police need your help to find these men who carried out an unprovoked attack which could have been fatal. Both victims suffered a punctured lung. It happened just before midnight on Tuesday the 10th of November in Malvern. 2 men were sitting in their parked car along this lane when they heard the sound of a motorbike. The next thing they remember was their car windows being smashed and the men from the motorbike attacking them. The victims were repeatedly stabbed and are now slowly recovering from their ordeal. The attackers escaped with £15 on an old-style motorcycle similar to this one. It's black with an oval-shaped windshield. Do you recognise the two men? Both are in their late to mid-20s and wore open-faced crash helmets. The first man's about 5'10" and slim. He may have sandy-coloured hair. He was wearing a camouflage jacket, pale blue jeans and black walking boots. The stripe down the front of his helmet was red. The second man's about 5'8" and much bigger built. He was wearing a black shiny padded jacket and black trousers. This was a particularly nasty attack, so if you do know who they are, please ring the police in Worcester on 0905 723 888. That's 0905, the code for Worcester, 723 888.
3 armed robberies in Sheffield are being linked by South Yorkshire Police. On Tuesday the 6th of October at 11:20 a.m, the robbers went into the Ellesmere Road post office. They threatened staff with a knife and stole a large amount of cash. They escaped in a Vauxhall Cavalier, which was later found abandoned in nearby Clun Street. It's thought the men then ran over a bank to an awaiting Mark IV escort. The man with the knife was Afro-Caribbean, around 30, 5'10" to 6 foot, with either a short beard or stubble. His accomplice looked younger, was white, between 5'8" and 6 foot, with black shoulder-length untidy hair. The third man was also Afro-Caribbean, in his early 30s and 5'8". He had a moustache and was wearing a hat which may have been covering dreadlocks. The same men might be responsible for 2 similar robberies in the area. If you think you can help, please call officers in the incident room at Ecclesfield Police Station on a special number. That's 0742 570 800. That's 0742, the code for Sheffield, 570 800.
Our next case has profoundly disturbed the small community of Lanchester, a few miles outside Durham. It happened on the morning of December the 19th, when a 14-year-old was raped as she returned home after finishing her newspaper round.
About a year ago, she asked if she could have a round because one of her friends was going to get one, but, you know, my husband and I weren't very happy about it and we sort of discouraged her. But recently she came again and asked, and I think she's a bit more determined this time, and she's a little bit older, so we agreed, with a bit of reluctance, to give her a little bit of independence.
On the edge of the round was a piece of grassland by the now disused Lanchester railway station. It's Saturday, December the 12th, a week before the attack, and a local man notices a stranger.
At that time in the morning, you usually only see local people either walking a dog or going down into a village to do some shopping.
Hello.
He seemed evasive, just the way he looked down and didn't make any eye contact. I think the man was approximately 5'8", 5'10" tall. The hair was fairly dark. He was a medium build.
Next week, again on a Saturday, the teenager set off from Matthews newsagents at 20 to 8. It was just beginning to get light. About halfway along her route is a cul-de-sac called Wood Lee. At around 10 to 8, Dorothy Kavanagh and her son were getting ready to go on holiday.
As I was putting the cases into the car, I noticed a young man. He was acting quite suspiciously and appeared to be marking time. I was particularly concerned about this as he was a stranger, and I was anxious that our house was not broken into when we were away on holiday for a few days.
About 10 minutes later, as the Kavanaghs set off, the teenager turned into Wood Lee. The last house on her delivery route is in Cadger Bank, opposite the old vicarage. As she began her walk home, she heard something. Between 2 houses off Cadger Bank, she took a shortcut leading to her home. It's now about 10 past 8. About 10 minutes later, 200 yards away in West Drive, Linda Haynes was setting off for work. She noticed an unfamiliar car parked in the road.
As I drove past, I saw a man sat in it, and for a split second, I looked at him, he looked at me, and I drove on.
A few minutes later, the car was heard to speed off. The victim had been knocked unconscious. She was discovered later by a neighbour.
I just hope that if anybody knows anything, however small it may seem to them, that they'll come forward, because we don't want this to happen to anybody else's daughter.
If you can help identify this man, please call us straight away. The number to ring is 081 811 8181, or you can call the police direct on 091 386 4929. That's 091, the code for Newcastle, 386 4929.
Finally, police are linking 8 armed robberies on betting shops in Surrey. 5 months ago at Ladbrokes in Woking, a shop assistant was just about to lock up when this man burst in. He threatened her and then made off with cash. He's around 35, 5'7", and has a pale complexion. He may have shaved off that beard and moustache. We believe this man is one of a gang which has been operating around Surrey over the last year. 2 of his possible accomplices were in action a fortnight later, again in Woking, when staff at Coral's betting shop were confronted. The first man is in his 20s, around 5'8", with a London accent. The other man is older, between 35 and 45, 5'8", with a medium to large build. The last attack was only 2 weeks ago, and we're anxious for your help before these men strike again. So please ring the incident room in Woking on 0483 761 991. That's 0483, the code for Woking, 761 991.
And of course you can ring the studio direct on 081 811 8181. The lines are open now, 081 811 8181.
We don't normally appeal on Crimewatch for missing persons. People have a right to anonymity. But we will help locate someone if there are grave fears for their safety. And that's precisely what there are, grave fears for the man who features in the film that follows. Police in Tyneside fear that he's been murdered. Michael Strawn was known as Big and Soft, a Geordie with a tender heart. But on the night he disappeared, he was so preoccupied he walked right past several friends.
He obviously didn't see us. He must have been looking for somebody, because he just went in the loo and he came straight back out. He was only in for a second. All right.
How are you doing?
You hang around for a drink?
No, I can't stop. I've got to do a bit of business, so I'll catch you later,
Fine.
OK?
I'll see you later.
See ya.
Whoever he was doing business with that night almost certainly knows why and how he disappeared. Michael was born in Newcastle and lived at Westerhope. He'd never been away from Tyneside, and at 38 still lived with his parents. He'd been a forklift driver, but in 1990 was made redundant. Since then, he got whatever work he could, as doorman, bouncer, or mending cars or motorbikes.
Oh, Coley, all right?
Oh, Vic, how you doing?
Oh, not too bad.
Vic liked bikes. He would often hang around with the other bikers on Westcott Road because a lot of the time he was out at work. He would often pop into the shop just for a chat. He would usually be on his own because most of his mates were working.
With little to occupy his time, Michael was a regular in several pubs in the city centre, especially the Farmer's Rest or Percy Arms, and made friends easily.
I first met Michael a few years ago and recently got in contact with him again, and occasionally we'd go out to pubs in the Haymarket for a drink together.
I've spent all day in the shop.
Michael had a heart of gold and he would do anything for anybody. And sometimes he used to tell told stories, but I think it was just to gain affection because he just wanted people to like him, basically.
Anyway, I must go. I'll go phone me dad, make sure he's OK. So I'll see you later, OK?
Michael loved his home life and was devoted to his mum and dad. His mother's death, a few months before he disappeared, had badly shaken him. He was bookish and used to read and write a lot. This is part of a poem inspired by his father's bereavement.
I've lived my life on the wild side. Then I saw a 75-year-old man trying to say goodbye to a woman he's loved. It made me feel so small, and I cried. But for once in my miserable life, not for me, but for him.
Oh, Mick was a real good ballad.
He was soft, he'd do anything for me. But he was also gullible and, you know, to anyone. He'd do anything for anybody. But he was really and truly soft-hearted. Big but gentle.
But not everyone was soft on Michael. His size sometimes attracted trouble, and he may have acquired enemies through drugs. He smoked cannabis and dealt in it a bit to fund his habit. There are rumours that one Friday last June, the week before he disappeared, someone took a swing at him. It said a white Ford Transit was involved. Next week, the last before he vanished, Michael was cheerful as always, ambling round Newcastle, dropping in on friends, and, so he said, on the verge of a big deal.
Oh, mate, how are you doing?
Yeah, hello there, Mick. You all right?
Full of busy?
Aye.
He was his normal sort of happy-go-lucky self that day. He said to me that he was going out to buy himself a Mercedes car and that he was putting some deal together which was going to make him a load of money. He'd also mentioned to me that he was meeting his friend Don the following day.
Anyway, I've got to go downtown.
Right.
Well, I might see you down there later, OK?
Aye, OK.
OK, catch you later.
Right, we mind how you go, Mick.
OK.
Yep.
Ta-da.
Ta-ra now.
I didn't really believe him. I just sort of assumed it's another of these pie-in-the-sky stories. I've known Mick for quite a while. He's never really had a large amount of money to play with. And I remember thinking to myself that, you know, I'll believe it when I see it.
How we doing, big fella? Man, you all right?
Aye, champion.
Oh, in? You must have smelt the kettle.
But Michael did have money that week and was seeking more.
I'll tell you what it is. Got a bit of business lined up.
Oh,
Glad you
Mickey,
turned up.
your business. Again.
Look, man, it's good. Gonna make a lot of money.
Mickey, give over.
Look, it's sweet, I tell you. Gonna make a lot of money out of it. Thought of you.
Look, Mickey, all the best to you, but I just don't want any part of that.
The day Mick disappeared was Friday the 19th of June, the day the Hoppings opened, the largest travelling fair in Europe. By now, Mickey had raised several £1,000s.
Look at that. Gonna make me a lot of money.
Hmm?
Are you all right?
Oh, no, I feel awful.
What's the matter?
I was feeling ill that day and a bit sorry for myself, and when he showed me the money, I didn't even bother to question where it'd come from.
I'll leave you. Gotta go. You take care now. I'm off downtown to meet Don. I'll probably catch you later.
You take care with all that money on your mind, Mick. Ta-ra.
At 8:30 that evening, Michael was seen outside the Percy Arms in Percy Street. This is Peter Owens, the last person known to have seen Michael before he vanished.
I'd arranged to meet some people for a drink that night. I know Mick because Mick books bands for a party at Don's farm, and I play bass guitar in one of the bands, and we'd played at one or two of his parties.
Oh, Mick, how's things? Oh, mate, you all right?
Yeah. Have you got anything sorted out for the party?
Yeah, I'm off. Just waiting for a couple of lads to pick us up. I'm off to Durham. Going to pick up the marquee.
Peter recalls Mickey was relaxed as usual. The time then was 9:20.
I think it was the very next morning it just hit me. I knew something was wrong because he wasn't the simple reason he hadn't gotten home to me. He would have moved heaven and earth to get back to me.
Michael's car was found 100 yards from the Percy Arms. That was 6 months ago. He vanished on Friday the 19th of June. Inside was Mickey's precious cap. It's almost certain somebody watching this programme tonight knows what happened to Mickey. Please call in. Incidentally, if you saw Mickey anywhere, you'd certainly remember him. Remember, he's 6'3", 23 stone, and pretty fit. Thai boxing champion as well, if not a champion. He used to teach it. So please call us here if you can help. Superintendent George Waugh is answering the phones here, 081 811 8181, or you can call his colleagues in Newcastle. They're on 091, the code for Newcastle, 221 8020. That's 091 221 8020.
Well, no shortage so far of calls that are coming in. Calls are flooding in on the Bolton bank robbery. We've had a lot of people ringing in to say that the trainers are made by Adidas, so we know who makes the trainers now. We don't want any more calls on those. What we do want to know is calls linking those trainers with the other clues we gave, the gun and the descriptions and so on. We've had a name that the police are showing a great interest in, so they're following that one up. There's some calls there on the tea towel I can see there too. That appalling Malvern stabbing, a name has been suggested for the man in the black helmet with some details given that might well tie him up to the crime, so that's being followed up. But now to this month's file of photograph faces. Perhaps you'll recognise one of them tonight. Here again are David Hatcher and Jackie Hames to take us through them.
First, if you're an antique dealer or gallery owner, you might have come across this man. Cheshire Police would like to speak to him in connection with a number of cheque frauds. Throughout the country, paintings and antiques worth thousands of pounds have been bought with cheques which later bounced. 2 paintings by William Mellor were bought in Chester on October the 31st last year. Perhaps you know where they are now. Using the name Johannes Rembert, he was last known to live in St Anne's, Lancashire. He's about 40, 5 foot 8 inches tall and has a Dutch accent. He may also be driving a white Mercedes. It's believed he could be clean-shaven now and using the name Johannes Josef Kemper. If you do know where he is, please call us tonight.
Do you recognise these 2 men? Police in Sussex believe they're part of the same team, using stolen credit cards at off-licences along the south coast. Here's the first man, just after 2 p.m. on the 4th of June in Hurstpierpoint near Brighton. The second man went into the same shop 6 minutes later. The team are in action again on September the 22nd at Threshers in Hassocks. The second man again followed a few minutes later, but this time he made a hasty retreat when staff became suspicious. Do you recognise them? They're both in their mid-30s. The first man's about 5 foot 8, quite well built and has short straight hair. The second man's about 5 foot 10 with dark curly hair and has a moustache. If you know who they are, please call us now.
This man is suspected of committing up to 30 robberies. He operates in the London area and always carries a gun. He's seen here 18 months ago in the Woolwich Building Society in Harlesden. A month later he was with a female accomplice in the Leeds Permanent Building Society in Edgware. The following year his disguise had changed. Is that a wig he's wearing? He failed at the National and Provincial Building Society in Richmond, but notice the bag he's carrying. A month later, also in Richmond, he robbed the Leeds Permanent Building Society. Remember that holdall? It's the well-known make Head. Here he is again with another disguise. Do you recognise him? He's in his late 20s, 5 foot 10 to 6 foot, with an athletic build. If you know who or where he is, please call.
Merseyside Fraud Squad are anxious to trace this trio, Jan Didding and his daughter Pia, who are both Swedish, and Stephen Harris. All are believed to be living in the UK. They were directors of Globex Worldwide Limited, a timeshare resale company based in Cheshire and Liverpool. Between September 1991 and March 1992, nearly 400 owners of timeshare properties paid a £180 registration fee to the company in the belief a purchaser had been found. No sale was forthcoming, nor was the money returned. In fact, the company offices closed in March and the directors haven't been seen since. Jan Didding is 52, 5 foot 9 with fair hair, blue eyes and a Swedish accent. Pia Didding is 23, 5 foot 3, slim and also has a Swedish accent. Stephen Harris is English, 38, 5 foot 10 with brown receding hair. If you know where any of them are or can help with any of our other photocall faces, please call us now.
And there's the number, 081 811 8181, 081 811 8181. And here's the gallery of pictures we showed last month. As you can see, 3 faces no longer feature. Starting at the top left, a man wanted in connection with inquiries into fraud. David Leslie Speed seems to be known to people all around England and Wales, and indeed he seems to owe a lot of them money. Police now have a recent picture, and several viewers suggested an address for him, but he's still missing. The Building Society robber in Humberside and Yorkshire. 53 leads were suggested for him. 23 of those still remain to be checked out. Next, a man wanted in connection with a robbery. 2 Northern Ireland callers gave a name for him, and as a direct result, a man was arrested last week in Kilkeel in County Down and has now been charged with robbery. Another man was identified by Crimewatch viewers and arrested the day after the programme. He's now in custody, awaiting trial on 7 charges of sex offences involving children. And yet another man's been charged with robbery after nearly 20 callers recognised someone in a video of the event taken by a security camera on the top deck of a London bus. If we have news on any of tonight's appeals, we will, of course, keep you up to date as the programme goes on.
Our last case is a rape attack on a 19-year-old woman in Cardiff. In the hope that someone watching tonight can help, the victim, who we'll call Sarah, has summoned the courage to describe her ordeal for our film. And of course her part in the reconstruction is played by an actress, as is that of her friend, who we'll call Mandy. However, a witness who saw the aftermath of the attack has been so disturbed and concerned by what happened that he takes part himself in the film you're about to see, which begins in Cardiff city centre at a cafe where Sarah and her friend often used to meet.
So do you like them? They're nice, yeah. Yeah, do they suit me? Yeah, they're really nice.
Sarah has lived all her life in Cardiff with her parents. She's known her closest friend Mandy for 4 years.
I would say Sarah's my best friend because since I've known her, she's the person I tell everything and we're always together. Know everything about each other.
Seen them myself.
When we go out together, we laugh and joke and always have a good time. We dance all the time, but she's always very confident, easygoing. Every time we go out, we meet new friends all the time because she's just so easy to talk to.
Really awesome, wasn't it? Did you see his neck? I know.
Can't understand you going out so late. I'm ready for bed myself.
Yeah, it's just because you're getting old, Dad.
Hey, less of the old.
Thursday the 3rd of September. Shortly before 11 o'clock that night, Sarah's father gave her a lift to Cardiff Station, where she'd arranged to meet Mandy.
So we'll do it with her?
Yes, it's fine. Thanks, Dad.
Right, well, have a good time, but be careful.
I will. Thanks for the lift. Bye.
Ta-ra, love.
You alright? Yeah, it's been you long. No, you look nice. And you too. I know.
Every Thursday, Sarah and Mandy went to Lloyd's nightclub in the city centre in a basement under the Philharmonic pub. It's 11:15. Lloyd's records for the 3rd of September show there were more than 200 people in the club. If you were one of them, you may have seen something unusual. It is just possible her attacker was here that night.
Hiya, Seth. All right?
Yeah, how are you, alright?
Not too bad.
Look, you haven't played 5 yet.
I'm playing next, all right?
Bet I had.
Who you with?
You know Mandy.
Oh, yeah, of course I do.
So you're going to play next, do you?
Yeah.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye, Seth.
Oh, yeah. Are you ready to go now? What, now? Yeah. Oh, no, I don't want to go now. I want to stay and dance. Oh, I thought it's late. We can go now. Oh, no, you go on. Look, because I'm starved and I'll get chips or something on the way home. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm fine, honestly. You go. All right, then. I'll give you a ring in the week then. All right, take care now. Bye.
In fact, Sarah only stayed another 10 minutes.
I used to go out 2 to 3 times a week. I always felt secure. I always considered myself pretty streetwise, and I always made sure I took a well-lit route.
Cone of chips, please.
It was about 2:15 when she called in at the chip shop.
It's 55 pence, please. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
I'd been walking about 10 minutes when I suddenly felt a presence, and I knew that there was someone watching me, and there was somebody there. And that's when I turned around and I saw him.
Stay quiet, I'm going down.
Then he started to march me across the road down towards the car park. I looked around for taxis and people, but there was just nobody there. I was very frightened. I was screaming and running, trying to get away, but it was just making him worse. He was very hyped up and agitated and constantly threatening.
The car park is opposite Cardiff Magistrates Court. Sarah's ordeal lasted about 20 minutes.
You made the coffee and get that right. Well, Annette and I would been down the Welsh Club just for a few drinks and a dance. Party the night away, really. We had a really good time. followed the guy because I thought it was the only natural thing I could do and the only responsible thing I could do. I thought anybody would have done it. It's obviously done something really bad to her, something really wrong. I chased the guy for about 3/4 of a mile, but for the last 200 yards or so, I was just steadily losing ground. I was totally exhausted. He was really fit and really fast.
Stop him!
But the couple he called out to seemed not to hear him.
I felt guilty because I was a man, and I didn't catch him. I just hope she has the strength and courage to rebuild her life and to forget this.
My life's completely changed now. I always considered myself to have a lot of self-confidence, which has been completely destroyed. I find it very difficult to go out anywhere on my own, even in the daytime. I always must have lots of people around me or be taxied from door to door. And I feel very angry. It's as though part of me died, but I'm determined that I'll get that part of me back that I lost, and get back to how I used to be.
We can only wish her the very best. Mr. Jones, how much do you now know about Sarah's attacker?
Well, obviously he's a very aggressive, determined and dangerous individual. Indeed, if it wasn't for the intervention of the two witnesses, there's no telling what would have happened to this young girl.
He seemed to be quite fit, according to the description.
Yes, that's one point I'd like to emphasise. He was athletic build and generally a fit appearance. It could be that he regularly engages in physical exercise, some sporting activity, or perhaps does manual work.
There's our video fit there. How is he described?
He's described as being 5'10" to 6 foot tall, short, dark brown hair, cropped, crew-cut style. He's got a very wide nose, rather prominent, and he spoke with a Cardiff accent. Another feature I would like to emphasise is that he's white, but was very, very suntanned. Again, it could be that he'd recently returned from a summer holiday or has access to a sunbed.
This was early September, so it could well have been a holiday.
That's right.
He was wearing only a T-shirt and jeans.
Yes, he must have drawn attention to himself. He wasn't wearing a jacket, and again, the clothing was rather distinctive, in as much as it was a burgundy-coloured T-shirt, short-sleeved, crew neck, and he wore very pale blue denim jeans with a dark leather belt, some 1.5 to 2 inches in width.
No jacket, although it may have been quite chilly in the small hours.
That's
then.
right, it was.
You've brought with you a knife which you think may be similar to the one that was used in the attack.
Yes, this is the knife in question. In fact, the handle of the knife used in the attack was dark red in colour and had a blade of some 5 to 6 inches in length.
So it may have had a longer blade and the handle was dark red.
That's correct.
It may have folded in half, it may not.
It may not have, yes, but this is very similar to it in appearance.
And we saw the couple walking by the Cardiff Royal Infirmary who didn't hear the witness call out to them. You really need them to come forward.
Yes, it's very important that they come forward. They witnessed part of the chase, as you could see, and obviously at some stage a full view of the culprit.
Well, if that was you, please do call us. And one final appeal, the day after that attack, 2 people called local police stations about the incident. One of those callers saw the man running in City Road near the Cardiff Infirmary, and the man was seen to get into a dark-coloured car. Then the second caller said he saw him running in Silver Street and again in Pearl Street. Now, if either of those callers was you, it is vital that you call in again to talk to the investigating team. If there's anything you know that you think might help, please ring. Here's our number once again. It's 081 811 8181, or you can call the Cardiff Incident Room direct, and that's on 0222 398 381. That's 0222, the code for Cardiff, 398 381.
Now for our version of the Antiques Roadshow, but police suspect this treasure trove is stolen. Here to take us through Aladdin's cave is Eric Knowles.
Thank you, Dick. Well, no prizes for recognising this man's face, the Bard of Avon, no less. Would that it was marble, alas, it's just painted plaster. But he's really here by way to introduce this 8-volume set of Henry Irving Shakespeare. Now, each one of these volumes is actually inscribed C.E. Bedford, June 1902. Now, about 30 years later, a certain Mr. Wright Barker was busy capturing these 2 ploughmen with their horses on canvas. As for Wright Barker, he really did understand the physique of a horse. Strange thing is, he's probably better known for his dog paintings with a name like right Barker. It sort of makes sense, doesn't it? As for Elmer Keane, not a lot we can tell you. A Leicestershire artist. He exhibited on one occasion at the Royal Academy. I do like the composition. This is England, perhaps pre-First World War, pace of life that little bit slower. Now, if your forte is for, dare I say, bronzes and clocks, then this object is for you. To use a technical term, it's a cracker. We've seen two muses, one emblematic of summer and the other emblematic of autumn. Nice quality modelling, good casting. But when it comes to modelling in porcelain, they don't come much better than Meissen. Here are two figures. This lady emblematic of sight, this partner emblematic of sound. But this figure interests me more. Höchst porcelain, German, probably modelled by a man called Melchior, quite typical with these soft pastel colours and this grassy mound. But alas, the poor chap's lost his hand. Now, that's been missing a good number of years. As for this figure, a stag, it looks like bronze. I'm afraid it's just gilt metal. But you may recognise this little character who's creeping in on the act, this small fox. It isn't signed, but here's a bronze that is. My favourite object on the cave this evening is courtesy of one Reginald F. Wells, a lovely girl in sort of just nice and impressionistic, gathering firewood, beautiful soft face. But it doesn't cease to amaze me the sort of things that people do collect. I mean, could you imagine collecting knife rests? They're wonderful. Believe me, they've saved many a tablecloth, and they're great with chopsticks.
Well, here's the number, 081 811 8181, or you can call the police direct, and that's the number 0992 561 212. That's 0992, the code for Epping, 561 212.
And if it sounds rather noisy in the background here tonight, well, it is, because the phones are very, very busy. These are all names that have been proffered for the Bolton robbery, the NatWest robbery. We've had 23 names put forward so far, and one of them is causing a good deal of excitement here. Manchester, incidentally, the number there is almost permanently engaged, but do please keep trying, or alternatively try us here in London, 081 811 8181. We've got names suggested for a whole series of other crimes, including the Sheffield Post Office robbery. On photocall, two cases are creating a great deal of excitement and interest here too, especially on the cheque fraud.
Well, thank you very much for calling if you did. And if you haven't got through yet, you still have until midnight. We'll have more to tell you, I hope, in our update programme after question time at 11:15.
If you can't stay up till then, 11:15, don't have nightmares, do sleep well. Good night.
Good night.